you ever tried to fix your chronic lack of energy by getting more sleep, only to wake up still feeling exhausted? This is how Dr. Saundra opened her TED Talk, the real reason why we are tired and what to do about it. She then goes on to explain that this is because sleep is only one of 7 types of rest, and that as a society we have dumbed down rest to only sleep, resulting in a culture of high-achieving, high-producing, chronically tired and burned out individuals. So in today's video, we're kind of going to flip the script on productivity, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why rest is productive and the 7 types of rest identified by Dr. Saundra. I hope that by watching this video it will help you improve your own quality of life and that you end up resting a little bit better, because I'm sure we all need it. I know I do. This was definitely research I've done for myself, but then I thought it was really interesting and so I wanted to turn it into a video as well. So hopefully that also can help you. As I briefly mentioned in the beginning of this video, our society, unfortunately, really glorifies constant busyness to a toxic degree. Most of us tend to feel like we're falling behind, we're not doing enough. If we want to get 8 hours of sleep, that's selfish and unattainable. And even if we want to just like sit down to read a book just because we feel like it, we feel like we can't. That's being lazy and not productive. However, there's been a ton of research in recent years that shows that overwork actually reduces focus, creativity, and long-term output. So how does rest actually fuel creativity? Rest actually allows the brain to consolidate memories, recharge energy, and spark creativity. Here's an example. Athletes need to rest between training to allow them time for muscle recovery. A personal example of mine is that when editing YouTube videos, I actually like to take breaks in between instead of doing it all in one chunk, so that I can come back with a clearer mind and new perspective. Usually that allows me to get more creative edits and also better decision making as well. I feel like I overthink a lot when editing whether or not to keep something in or to do a specific type of edit or transition. And every time I take a video a little bit slower and I edit it in multiple sections across different days, I feel like the video always comes out better than if I do it all in one sitting. Now that we know that rest does fuel productivity, let's talk about the 7 different types of rest and what you can do to put them into practice. We're going to start with the most commonly understood one, which is physical rest. So obviously this one you can practice it by sleeping, taking naps, and also by stretching. Next up is mental rest. So this involves taking breaks from deep concentration. You can practice mental rest by meditating to help clear your mind, scheduling mini breaks in your work if you can. A great one is using the Pomodoro timer, for example. And also something that can help with mental rest is keeping a little notepad by your nightstand, so that if you have thoughts at night that you feel like you don't want to forget, you can just write it down, and that literally helps take it from your brain to the pen and paper so that you can allow yourself to rest and not think about it. Next up is sensory rest, and this involves reducing screen time and literally anything that is like noise and overstimulating in a sensory way. The first example of how you can practice sensory rest may sound really simple and kind of stupid, but I promise it works. It is literally to take a few moments to just close your eyes and sit in silence in the middle of a busy day. I used to work at a retail store and the shop floor would always overstimulate me. I also tend to get migraines, so it was not a good combination, and I did multiple times take breaks where I would like set a 3-minute timer on my watch and I would just close my eyes in silence in the bathroom or the changing room just to take those 3 minutes for myself, because it would allow me to come back to the shop floor already feeling a lot better than I did if I hadn't taken those 3 minutes. Before you think it's too silly, I'll just say give it a try. Another way you can practice sensory rest is to give yourself a break from noise. Dr. Saundra's example is to drive silently during your commute home from work. I personally always take the tube. I don't drive, so that's not something that I could do. But again, when I was working retail, sometimes I would feel way overstimulated and that I couldn't do anything during my commute. So because the tube itself was quite packed and overstimulating after a work day, what I would do is I would put in noise cancelling headphones, set it to noise cancelling, and then not have anything playing. That was one way for me to kind of minimize noise and allow my senses to rest a little bit. And then also something that you can do is to unplug your electronics and completely reduce screen time when you do need that extra boost of sensory rest. The 4th type is creative rest, and this is something to do with reawakening the childlike awe and wonder inside each of us. I do have those, obviously. This one to me is so important. I feel like as adults we are not creative enough. I personally am very lucky that I am pursuing a very creative career, but I feel like unfortunately a lot of people aren't doing that. So I would definitely recommend giving some time to creative rest as well. And different ways that you can do that is, for example, to expose yourself to more art and nature. This can be free if you have any free museums around you, or any more beautiful nature places around you, like a really beautiful park or a hike, a mountain, something like that. And it can be also any other form of creative inspiration to you. It doesn't have to be just art and nature. Another thing that you can do is also to hang up different images of places that you love or works of arts that you really like around either your home or your place of work, or both even. I have a little mini gallery wall above my desk. It is so simple and cheap. I literally just printed pictures that I really liked and found inspiring learning from Pinterest, and I just cut them up and stuck them with painter's tape. It is super on a budget. It's not like a nice, pretty, fancy gallery wall, but I love seeing that. It really does motivate me and just makes me feel a little bit more inspired. And also I have one that is talking about rest, so I do get that memo as well every time I look at it. Next up is emotional rest, and this is all about having a safe space to freely express your feelings. If you want to do this in a more personal and intimate way, it could be through journaling, and that's just you yourself journaling your thoughts, but making sure that you are processing those feelings. Or another great way is to call a loved one that you know you can trust and just asking them to vent without advice or opinions, just to literally let your thoughts out, because both of these have their pros and cons, like speaking to someone or journaling. Sometimes it's better to process certain emotions just within yourself through pen and paper, and other times it can be really healing to be able to process emotions by venting to someone that you love and trust. Figure out what you're more comfortable with at first and start there, but just think about different ways that you can let yourself rest emotionally. The next type of rest is social rest, and this is all about time away from draining people. And by this I mean spending time with people who really energize you and positively support you no matter what, and that you don't feel like you need a lot of social battery to be around them, if any at all. Dr. Saundra refers to a study that shows that we tend to mirror those that we spend our time with, and therefore if you spend a lot of time with negative people, you will then start to feel those feelings yourself as well. Obviously we do not want that, so if you are feeling really down, maybe think about who you're spending your time with and see if they're the problem or if you're the problem, because it could be that it's not you and it's actually them, and you should change who you're spending time with so that you can be around more positive, inspiring energy. And lastly, the seventh type of rest is spiritual rest, and this is all about the ability to connect beyond the physical and the mental, to have a deep sense of longing, connecting love, acceptance, and purpose. One way that you can practice spiritual rest is by engaging in something other than yourself in your day-to-day routine. This, for example, could be things like having mindful moments with yourself or prayer with something greater than, if that's something that you are comfortable with. It can also be random acts of kindness to those in your community. It doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual or religious, it just depends on what you believe in and how you feel. Something for me that I like to do is tarot, but I only do that for myself, not with others. Essentially, whatever feels right to you in a spiritual sense, focus on that and practice that on your day-to-day routine to help you with spiritual rest. But that'll be everything for today's video. I highly encourage that you try one of these different techniques this week and practice a different type of rest that you may not have done before. And if you feel comfortable, please comment down below what rest type you tackled and what you did to help with it. I also highly recommend actually watching Dr. Saundra's TED Talk video, because obviously I have zero qualifications except for my own research, so I do recommend that you go watch her video after mine as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!